Greetings, Evans. Do not get too perturbed with things going around you, the people around you. Because I saw 2-3 posts that came simultaneously talking about how disturbed somebody is due to certain things happening around in their environment. So I know this is a common thing again in the collective consciousness because this is palpable for me also and for everybody also. What I would like to just say is, do not get too serious into all those modes. Practice awareness. Live in awareness always, because while you are living in awareness, you are able to catch that difference of the frequency or that alignment of somebody else as well as yourself. You are able to catch that misalignment of the other person as well as yourself. And when you see that non-judgmentally, when you see that in complete awareness, you know what your fault is, you know the other's fault. You will not get too serious about it. Because we must understand somewhere or the other, everybody is meant to be in a certain way and it's their own divine right. Nobody is supposed to change for anything. All have their own rights to be rooted in whichever consciousness they are. Because every consciousness is a process of teaching everybody in a certain way. Because only then there will be evolution. Everybody cannot be in one level of frequency. There are those also who are in one level of frequency. There are huge communities and groups also, large population together also, who are vibrating at a certain level of frequency and all are together. But that's certainly not in this third dimensional plane. That's all happening in, not even the fourth, because Earth is right now a mixture of third and fourth dimension maximum. So there are people even in the fourth dimension who are evolved to that level, and there are people who are still in the gross third dimension. Gross, I mean completely rooted in the body consciousness, ego consciousness, the separatedness, the cocooned feeling of just the own self only, unable to go beyond that. That is all the third dimensional properties. And there are fourth dimensional people who are even beyond that, not just in the body, sometimes in the body, sometimes outside. And they are able to be flexible with all kind of frequencies. And the fifth dimensional people are the people who are much more evolved and rooted in that. Come what may, they don't change. That frequency is there. Maybe there's a little fluctuation, but they don't change. And above fifth frequency, fifth dimensional frequency, if you see, there is a certain kind of vibe that is very equal. That's very common. For example, unconditional love is very common, and the feeling of oneness is very common. The feeling of no separatedness is very common. There is no enmity, and most importantly, there is no past, present and future in higher dimensions. Right now in third dimension, the more you live in your past and future, the more you are grosser. So if the past is being carried in the present, you are unable to let go, and you are still holding on to those ideas or beliefs, consciously or maybe even subconsciously, because most are not aware also how strongly it is being held. Not on the conscious level. Conscious level, everything looks okay, fine. Subconscious is deep. So the willingness to bring these things out and cleanse this is the process which I am talking so much about, awareness. Because in awareness only you can see. Only when you are in awareness you can see. But if the mind is constantly, this is how we see things. If we see our mind constantly rooted in some kind of pain, anger, grief, sadness, hatred, disappointment, any such kind of, or victim, self-pity, these are all very gross emotions which ground one towards the third dimensional and below also, which will not allow one to rise into awareness. You see, if you understand what I am trying to say is, if that emotion is running all the time in our body and mind, you cannot see in awareness. And you will notice that when such emotions are coming up, you cannot be cheerful. You cannot be happy. You will be more irritated, you will be sad, you will be angry, all those things. And at that time, if you observe, you cannot be in awareness, how much ever you try, because that emotion will root you into that. And when the emotion grounds you into that, the actions will be that type. It will be very reflex action, very non-thinking action. You won't be thinking much. The intellect is completely dead. The buddhi, what we are talking, the viveka doesn't function. Because then you are not able to discriminate whether this is right or wrong for myself, for others, for everyone. That will not work. At that time, only that will work is about me, how I am feeling, how things are for me. So it's a catch. All this is going on in the collective consciousness right now. And all have their right to be in whichever plane of dimension they want to exist. Nobody can convert, nobody can preach, nobody can teach, nobody should even try to convince or anything. So it is acceptance. It's all about acceptance. So when it comes to acceptance, you are okay. And once you realize what I'm trying to tell you here, somebody might be at third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth, or somebody might be even one dimension, two. It doesn't matter. We have to understand that the world is collective, and on the earth plane we are not going to have those high dimensions. It will never happen because earth plane is supposed to be third dimensional. There will be little up and little down going on, and this is a constant plane. If you have to evolve, then there are higher dimensions, maybe on earth or maybe apart from this also, very subtle dimensions where there are currently people living. And those dimensions are such that there is no separatedness and there is no body consciousness much. And it's subtle to such a level that, you don't need even the Panchendriya to talk. If you have seen my live where I talked extensively about how we use the Panchendriyas for everything we need to talk, because we are totally rooted in body consciousness. So in those dimensions, there is no talk. Then how do they communicate? Thoughts. One person's thought is read by the other very easily. So it's like, one can read the other's thought easily and just respond through a thought itself. You read a thought, you respond in the mind, that other person gets it. Now it is not as dramatic as we might look at it. It's very, very pure at that level, because at that level, nobody can even harm. Like if we use the same quality here in third dimension, and if a person is not purified, then it can be used for something like telepathy and reading somebody else's mind, intrusions, Vashikaran, on all those things, all those stupid things where it's all about control. Control comes where only I am thinking about myself. I told you, third dimensional and lower are always about myself. 24 hours I'll be only thinking about myself. So this control also is another thing only. I cannot think about others. If I think about others also, it will be control only. So I might say I'm thinking about this person, that person, 10%, 20%, the whole world. But ultimately, what am I thinking? Am I trying to make them all like me? If I'm trying to do that, then I'm trying to control and manipulate everybody to make them like me. Because that is for me, my own personal needs. You're getting it? So that is still a very gross kind of consciousness. And in the higher dimension, this does not happen. If one is in this, they cannot transcend to that. They will never ascend to that kind of dimension because of the misuse. And who looks into whether it will be misused or not? Nobody looks into. It's an automatic cosmic intelligent function. The moment your intentions, your thoughts are pure and nothing got to do with especially the ego aspects. We have to be very careful about the ego aspect because we might not like listening to it, that it's ego, but the root of third dimensional, all the problems are the ego. Ego is again the separatedness. It's about me, myself, I. So anyways, how much ever we talk, it's not going to happen. That's why I said, this talking is all, these messages, these videos are all for people just to become aware of it. It's not to change anybody. It's not to try to convey a point of view to somebody and say that, this is the truth. No, this is not the truth. This might be the truth for me. It might not be for somebody else. And I respect and accept that. So when we respect and accept other people's point of view, we allow them to live the way they want. We allow them to vibrate the way they want. But I refuse to change or adapt according to that because I am rooted in my level of consciousness, whatever it is. I am not saying it's a high level of consciousness, whatever. Even if it is low, I have all the right to be in this low consciousness and learn lessons for myself because the Ascension will teach us. It's not like, it's my will and let me stay here in the lower consciousness. Okay, there are energies that will lift us up all the time. And it's very painful, very, very painful when we go that way, when there is no surrender and we say, okay, I'll be this way, I won't change. So we cannot interfere into those processes. Those are karmic lessons, those are deep lessons which a soul needs to go through. The pain and suffering, I told you, pain and suffering only happens when there is rigidity and inability to learn lessons. If a person is learning lessons, there will be no pain and suffering. Mind you, I am telling you, this is the first indication. You will not be undergoing intense pain and suffering. You might have little fluctuation, but you will get out of it. That means the lesson is learned. If lesson is not learned only, there is a tug of war. I pull myself down, something is pulling me up. Because my place, my right is to be there, not here. This is where I am supposed to be. But in my ignorance, I think I should be here. So, when this aspect is understood very clearly, crystal clearly, there will be no desire to change anybody. So, even these attempts, like whatever we are doing here, this is to bring awareness, this is to spread awareness of how life functions, and everybody has the right to pick this or not pick this, or reject this also, completely also. There is no force. I always say there is no force of any viewers. I have had multiple, I'm telling you, in this past 25 years, people coming in and walking out of my life almost on a daily basis. It's nothing new for me because I'm watching all this. From this study only I'm saying it. Because this is a very common thing. Previously there was like trying to hold on, control, or adapt myself to that, to please things because of certain attachment and not wanting to let go. You know, it's such a pain and struggle. But the moment you detach from it and you just ascend and naturally float with the flow, you will know whatever is happening for good, for your ultimate good. Because you are in that faith and strength, you are connected to higher realms and you are wanting to move in that space. So then you won't get disturbed. So I saw these 2-3 posts coming all simultaneously where people are actually agitated. Oh, and I'm feeling so lonely. People are saying in the crowd also I'm feeling lonely. You know, see, lonely means what? If we feel lonely, even in the crowd, it is no oneness. Person has shrunk into me mind and built boundaries around and cocooned. You know, I want to be this way. Perhaps because I feel this is my safe zone. Here I am. It is all because of traumas. Please understand. All because of multiple traumas through childhood we receive. We are made to believe that I am worthless. I am not fit to be loved. This is my level. This is my worthiness. This is my limit. And I cannot go beyond this. And I only deserve so much. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve attention. I don't deserve the goodness between each other. All that you deserve is this. This is life experiences repeating itself. So when you have series of events, especially from the childhood, which I talk about inner healing, child healing, it's from there. If it is continuous and this adds on in the subconscious, it doesn't even show consciously. So one person feels very heavy from within, though they might not realize what it is. So these are those traumas that are holding. And this makes you cocooned. You have your own space. One is, I say, I like being alone. And then feeling lonely. This is one type of feeling. The other opposite type of feeling is, I love being alone. And I never feel lonely. Never feel lonely means nothing about nothing. I'm in my state of bliss or happiness or joy or cheerfulness or whatever. I will not find any kind of distractions. Even if I have nothing to do, even if I just sit idly, I can sit for hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. So check out and see if can I sit for 1 hour, 2 hours. Still, we might not know because all the time we are running around. We are reading a book, we are seeing television, we are meeting friends, we are calling up somebody, we are going for work, we are doing this activity, that activity, all the time engaged. That distraction also is a subconscious trigger to keep you busy because you don't want to sit alone because you know then you'll feel lonely. So the catch how it is. So this cocooning and feeling lonely is coming from there. First of all, we need not cocoon ourselves and feel that we don't deserve it. It's a feeling that we don't deserve it. I've seen people where even love is rejected. See how contradictory it is. There is a deep need for love. It's always there. But the traumas and the beliefs and the conditioning, it's so strong, saying that you are not worthy of love. You can't be loved. So that will subconsciously even kick out the best love that is coming to them. And say no. Some drama will happen, and which even probably they'll not know. Even if they sit pondering, what happened? What really happened? There's nothing. If you see there's nothing really happened, then sit pondering and then what the hell is this? What was all that about? That is all coming from the subconscious. The subconscious trying to defend even that love which is being received, or love, or help, or acceptance, or forgiveness, whatever we call it, from outside which is coming, we reject the same thing that we want. That's why it's very painful. That's why it's very, very deep emotional turmoil that goes on. Emotionally, we might be good anyways, but emotionally, there's deep turmoil. I'm not even saying mentally. Even mentally, if you come down with something, meditation, this, that, you do and all that, still you make yourself calm or listen to some songs or some movies or something. Mind might be little stilled. Emotions will be having very turbulent. So this is coming from that realization of not accepting myself and not being able to sit and become aware of myself. I've had sessions where I do these sessions where people tell me, I've been watching your videos for 2 years, 1 year, and then I have this problem. Then I tell them, you are just watching, you're not practicing it. There's a big difference. So watching always feels good because every time you're getting a trigger, wow, this is so nice, this is a valid point, this is so nice. But your subconscious is sitting ready there with the weapons because it's waiting for a chance. When is this person going to begin this practice? So that we attack, we do something, we give it a distraction, some excuses, some justification, something you do, and the ego gets off with it, and it feels, I've done my job, I'm so happy. But actually, if you see, the ego has actually come up, it has shoved away what you are supposed to do. What you are supposed to actually do, it has pushed away without even you knowing. That's how cunning the ego is. Ego is very cunning. That is why only awareness practice can watch the ego. It's very difficult to watch the ego with the ego. Many people sit thinking about the ego. Did my ego do this? No. If you think in the mind, was it my ego? It will say no. Because why will the ego attack ego? You're saying it. We cannot deal the ego with the ego because mind and ego are the same. There's only one way. You have to go above that mind and ego in state of awareness. When you go into awareness, I've taught this many times, automatically everything stills. And when it stills, you can see through the calm waters what is happening down there. Then you see, oh my God, this is the play that's going within. And when you see that, next time you know, okay, you know how cunning you are. Now I watch myself. That's how we expose ourselves. Anyways, doing all these kind of practices will help us understand not just ourselves but the whole world. And if it is paining me in some way, in my inner turmoils, I will be able to relate to other people's pain also. And when I relate to other people's I know, okay, because when I have this, or when I had this ignorance, that was a pain, and now somebody else is going in. So you'll be patient, you'll be calm, you'll have compassion, kindness, and you will not want to vent anger or even judge, or even say, this is not right, that is not right, or throw tantrums there and try to prove your point. It's not needed. It's not needed actually. If you have learned to cut off from things and watch everything, then believe me, you will not feel lonely. Even in the crowd. Because the crowd never mattered to you before. And now also it doesn't matter. So these are deep things, dear ones. Just think about it. I'm talking a little low here because it's late now and mom is asleep. So Tomorrow I'm traveling to one place, I think another Nityananda ashram here, and I don't know if I'll be doing a live. If possible, I'll do a live there, and Sunday I'll be regularly doing my live, whatever it is, whatever the subject, so I'll update that tomorrow. And tomorrow's live also I'll update tomorrow itself once I'm able to talk and find out what exactly we can do. So until then, I think meet you tomorrow with the live, and there are some questions that have come, so those questions I'll answer in the live itself. Until then, much divine love and light to you. Stay blessed.